is that something that you feel that we can work together towards?
Sorry,
You're fine.
it's downtown Asheville.
Yeah. Sounds like one of your boys. So
Yes, it is.
hello and welcome to the Brothers and Sisters Like These podcast. I'm your host, Brother Emiliano. Today, our guest is Special Operations Division's Chief Rogers of the Asheville Fire Department. Chief Rogers, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Our pleasure. So please give the viewer some background into the Asheville Fire Department, some unique realities that the Asheville Fire Department has, and your own role within the department.
Sure. First, a little bit about the city. The city has a population of just under 100,000. We have 13 fire stations that serve the city. The city of Asheville is the regional hub kind of for commerce and tourism for the western part of North Carolina. Because Asheville is the biggest fire department in the West, we have some regional teams, which is mostly what I do on a day-to-day is managing those teams. So we have regional hazmat team, regional swiftwater team, and we provide that service because we do have the most people. We have around 300 firefighters that work for the Asheville Fire Department.
Okay. And as special operations, could you give us just a couple? You've mentioned some, but could you give us just a couple of a little more specific roles? Because it sounds really interesting, and to our viewers that are mostly military, we hear special operations, and we're all about that. So it sounds interesting.
Yeah, it's definitely not military special operations, but we have like I said, we have a swiftwater team that responds locally, but we've also been as far away as Texas in the past few years for flooding, and Vermont and several other places. And then a regional hazmat team, hazardous materials team. We served 30 western counties basically of North Carolina for hazmat technician level responses. We also have wildland firefighters who respond to wildland fires all over the region. And again, because we have the people, we're able to send out our firefighters and still protect the city with the number that we have. We have a drone program that's pretty new. We partner with the Asheville Police Department on that. They're the lead on that, but we do have pilots that fly drones, and that's another one of the responsibilities I have.
Okay. In the military, we've done like high angle rescue for mountainous terrains. Is that something that you guys do with the ropes and eradicating out of particular situations?
Yeah, for sure. We have two apparatus, two fire stations in the city that have specific jobs, and that's part of their jobs is the technical rescue part of it, and they carry equipment to do that every day, 24/7.
Okay. So our viewers know what the mindset of being a military service member is. Could you tell us and help us understand what does it take to become a firefighter? The missions, the values, kind of your ethos. What are you guys looking for in a firefighter?
Well, at the very basic, we have a physical fitness test that you have to pass to get in to be a firefighter, and we also have a written exam. And then you go through 6 months of recruit school, and so with all that specific to characteristics to be a firefighter, I would say physical fitness, physically fit, mental toughness, integrity, dedication, because you are here 24/7, and then being able to perform at a high level under pressure, which I think there are a lot of parallels there with the military. We actually steal a lot of our training practices from the military.
Okay, and I think one of the most important for us is teamwork, and that everybody has a specific role, but that collectively, no one person is more important or less instrumental than the other. So I imagine that sense of camaraderie and teamwork is a fundamental way for you guys to execute your daily mission, right?
Yes, absolutely. We live together 24 hours, so you become very close. You celebrate holidays with each other. You celebrate births and of children, and go to weddings, and just like you would your family. I mean, it sounds cliche sometimes to people, but we really are a family and close like brothers and sisters.
Yeah, absolutely. All of our military, especially those that are deployed or even stateside, can totally understand what you're talking about because you're living together outside of just your daily responsibilities, but in your daily activities of life. So there is a lot of correlation in that kind of camaraderie, and we as a military population completely understand that.
Yes, sir.
So, if you don't mind, just tell us a little bit about your own personal youth, any military affiliation that you have, adult life, kind of, who are you and how did you get to where you are right now?
So I grew up in Brevard, which is about 30 miles south of here, ish. And I'm a third generation firefighter. My grandfather and father both were volunteer firefighters in Brevard. Um, and I was not in the military, but my grandfather served in the Korean War, and my father in law did 2 tours in Vietnam. So I understand and respect very much so what you and all of veterans and active duty military do every day.
Okay, and then at what point did you decide in your life, you know what, I want to be a firefighter? How did that journey? What was that personal journey for you?
So initially I wanted to be a wildland firefighter out west until I figured out I had to move out west to do that. So uh, I decided to stick around here and join the Asheville Fire Department in 2002, and I've enjoyed every minute of it.
Excellent. And the department, like many departments, has offered you a professional career path where you can work more at maybe at an administrative level, managerial level. And so there's those types of pathways besides just being necessarily just a firefighter on a ladder company or engineer.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I started as a firefighter like everyone else does here in 2002, and I worked my way through the ranks. I became a company officer. I was a battalion chief. Um, my first job as division chief was over training for the department. But yeah, it's a great job. It's afforded me a ton of opportunities, not only locally, but like I said earlier, to travel around to other states and help people. So it's a great job and has been very rewarding.
That's very good to hear. And so, the reason why brothers and sisters and some other local Western North Carolina nonprofit charities that are mostly veteran based have decided to reach out to members of the first responder communities because after Helene, we saw that a lot of the trauma that the first responders were feeling mimicked a lot of the traumatic experiences we had overseas fighting for our country. And so we realized that we had some tools and some capabilities to offer the community, and we wanted to reach out. And this is what part of this process is. So, from the Asheville Fire Department, could you just briefly describe what your response to Helene was like and the aftermath, including, currently the past, the present, and the future, because we're still living through the effects of Helene.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. You can't ignore it if you're around this area. Um, so prior to Helene, we we started preparing for Helene specifically on Wednesday when the storm actually hit on Friday. So we had special operation teams working Thursday morning. We actually started doing some rescues from the precursor rain that occurred Thursday. So we had that in place before the storm ever hit, and that was swiftwater teams. We had evacuation teams, and then one huge plus for us that a lot of people probably have no idea was we had a FEMA task force team from New Jersey that arrived, Wednesday night, which is a force multiplier for us because they brought 80 people, and they were dedicated to the city with a ton of previous experience in handling disasters. So that was really big for us. But that's kind of the workforce that we had in place.
Yeah. And so, presently, are you still dealing? We know structurally and economically, we're still dealing with the repercussions of Helene. From a Asheville Fire Department standpoint, are there still things that you guys are dealing with, whether it's the impact it made on the personnel or structural damages as it happened to firehouses? How is this still impacting your fire department?
So yeah, for sure, it's still impacting our personnel. Um, we were very lucky in the fact that our infrastructure, our buildings and apparatus didn't really sustain any damage. We obviously did sustain damage to some of our boats and motors that were used because of the floodwater. But the impacts on the people are for sure still lingering and probably will be for years to come.
And is there a way that you could describe some of the actions that the Asheville Fire Department has taken for its staff to better process their service during Helene and post Helene?
Yeah, for sure. We had an embedded mental health clinician program in place before Helene hit, which was extremely beneficial for Helene specifically. That program began in 2018. We partnered with a group called Responder Support Services, and they have 20 plus mental health clinicians on staff, two of which are embedded in the city of Asheville with APD and AFD. Um, from a very personal side of things, I had one of the clinicians with me ground zero every day during the storm when we were doing body recovery. She was actually riding in the passenger seat the whole time. Not for me specifically, but for all the folks who are working out there dealing with what we're seeing.
I think for especially for civilians who don't understand how the military and first responders is a very dynamic and complicated and layered approach to servicing the community. I think what you've just talked about, help from at the federal level, help within local community members, really goes to show you that it's a really combined effort, and things like training and cross training and kind of thinking outside of the box, whether it's technology with drones or just a humanistic approach to trying to help people on scene in real time. I think when you look at it that way, you really see how far first responders and even the military have come from the classic days of, say, 20, 30, 40 years ago. And I think had Asheville Fire Department not done this work in the past years, their response would have been much more limited to the one it was, and that's a really good testament to the vision that the department has had.
Yeah, I totally agree, and I feel very blessed to be part of it because I've been here since 2002. So like you said, 20, 30 years ago, it was a totally different world in first responder world and military. We didn't talk about mental health, or I didn't know what a clinician was when I first started at the fire department.
Right.
So yeah, all those things exactly like you spoke to have made us much more resilient as an organization.
And so one thing that we at Brothers and Sisters do is what we do is therapeutic writing, not in the academic sense, but in the therapeutic sense, where we can write about things that our service has really affected us, but we can write it kind of in the third person, and it doesn't have to be so personalized. And it's allowed us to write about things that we've never really been able to talk about. And so what we thought was, and what we've seen is that the best way to do that with first responders is that since you guys are on a work different shifts, or there's a little bit more of privacy concerns because you're still working actively, we've realized that journaling has really been a really good way for individual first responders to be able to tackle some of these stressful feelings and emotions that they have on their own terms, at their own pace, and at their own time. And that's something that we would really look forward to having a discussion with leadership like yourself and others at the Asheville Fire Department about if there's a way that we could work together to see if something like journaling and what specific methods of journaling could be possibly beneficial to your department. Is that something that you think there's a space and time and opportunity for us to share and collaborate on?
Yeah, I think it would be an awesome partnership. And as an organization, we're very open to doing anything that we can to help our folks mentally and physically be better.
Well,
So,
yeah,
not just at work, but at home.
absolutely. And I think your availability to have this discussion is kind of a testament to that. And so that's appreciated. And so is your encouraging words of how we can continue to work on protecting our mental and physical health. So for civilians, who might not want to be a firefighter but would like to in some way participate. You'd mentioned volunteering in other organizations that reach out, like a trauma intervention program type of thing. What are some of the ways that we can civilians can help or participate or be engaged with the Asheville Fire Department?
Something we've seen specifically to Helene, but it would hold true for any other significant event, is just being prepared before the storm gets here. Something that we communicate out every chance we get is 72 hours of stuff at your home ready to go, so that you can you can survive on your own without any help from the outside. Because as we saw in Helene, there was um, more than 3 days for us in the city of Asheville before we were able to get some of the help that we needed. So that's a big one for um, everybody in the community. And just like you mentioned previously, just being involved in the community in some form or fashion, find somewhere to volunteer that you enjoy and give back to your community.
Perfect. Thank you for those ideas. And a lot of communities that we're involved with, what we at Brothers and Sisters realize is that we need to go back to our communities and, with our military experience, explain to them that if we can clear our roads for first responders to come, if we can have enough water or purify enough water, have some food put to the side, and if we can all work as a team, that everybody can do a specific role. One person can be communications with the satellite, one person a radio, one person a first responder at a local level. We can really alleviate a lot of the call and needs for service on your part. And I think if everybody did that, it would dramatically improve your response time and your ability to get to the people who are really in the most need. So I think that takeaway is incredibly important and incredibly relevant post Helene. So thank you for that.
Yes, sir.
Is there any other way that you think an organization that's more military based like us could help the Asheville Fire Department, whether it be promoting, your message or working with you? Is there anything else that we publish books about our writings? Is there any other way that you think that we could be helpful to you as an organization?
More, I would just again kind of rehash what we talked about, just being prepared as a community for an emergency. And we're developing a program. We started before Helene, but that obviously put the brakes on most everything. But a community emergency response group, where, as you mentioned, you know who the people are who can clear a road. You know who the people are that can help you communicate. They may have food, water, whatever. But just being better prepared overall as a community is where that would, like you said, I couldn't have said it better. Help everyone tremendously.
Okay, well, agreed. So the Heart of Horse Sense, who is in a question based therapy group that's not a riding group, but it's interacting with horses. Last year, they've had their first annual First Responder Summit, and this year they will again at your training grounds, at the fire training grounds. So what we're really looking to do is really solidify our relationships with our first responders so that we can all be force multipliers and really create that camaraderie that we have with you as civilians, but also as the veterans in your department can have with us. Is that something that you feel that we can work together towards?
Sorry,
You're fine.
it's downtown Asheville.
Yeah. Sounds like one of your boys. So
Yes, it is. I think that should be it for now.
yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's one big rolling take.
Yeah.
No problem. Is there any upcoming events, whether in the public or important events, that the Asheville Fire Department would like the public to know and maybe participate in?
Um, Nothing that I can think of right off the top of my head. Every October we do a ton of stuff in the community because it's Fire Prevention Month. Um, but throughout the year, outside of October, we have a group of people who do public education in the community. They go to schools and talk to homeowner organizations and things like that. So yeah.
Okay, so there's plenty of ways to access the Asheville Fire Department, whether it's through social media, website, picking up the phone, and you guys offer a lot of public education. I'll give you an example. A few years ago, we had someone come and talk to us about something as simple as making sure you don't double park on a street because emergency equipment can't come through. Seems
Yeah.
kind of obvious, and yet no one had thought about it. And we realized, so there are opportunities for engagement at the local level, for people to get more information and be involved and get to know really people who like yourselves are first responders that are dealing with life and death situations. So it's really would be a good idea for us to engage with you all, because we deserve that, but you guys deserve that even more for what you do for us.
Well, I appreciate that, and I will commit to you today, personally and as an organization. We'll do what anything we can to work together and partner
Great,
to
thank you.
make both to make military to help the military and the fire department out.
Great. And Heart of Horse Sense will be hosting its second annual 3-day summit of first responder event that will be in 2026 at the training grounds, at the fire department training grounds. And so that's something that we will look forward to, involving as much Asheville Fire Department, also police, other first responders at all different levels, and look forward to solidifying those professional relationships, because you just never know where they'll go. There can be veterans in there that might not need help from the fire department side of it, but want to process some things from the military side. And if they can process that, it would make them a better firefighter and improve their quality of life. So I'm glad to hear that you're willing to work towards those goals, and I thank you for that.
Yes, sir, for sure. We're looking forward to it as well.
All right. So, my call to action, I think the most important thing that I've learned from your conversation, from our conversation, is Helene really taught us that we need to try to be self sufficient to the degree that it gives our first responders enough time to come to us. And there's a lot of things that are very manageable that we can do that significantly increase that. So, my call to action to my listeners, to our listeners, is to take those steps that you need to take. If you need help from the Asheville Fire Department or other organizations, reach out to them. As you see, they're willing to come and talk and help.
Yeah, and I would echo that, and specifically try to remember the 72-hour recommendation, and it's not very difficult, but making sure that you have food, water, medication, um, any kind of emergency power generator stuff that you may need for 72 hours until we or others, if you're not in the city of Asheville, it will definitely help the whole community and the first responder community for sure.
Well, before I let you go, I wanted to thank you for your time. I wanted to say, if anybody who's in Western North Carolina, especially near the regional airport, saw the flood of activity nonstop that everyone provided, the support that we got, and how organizations like the Asheville Fire Department, the Asheville Police Department welcomed everybody and really showed that I can't imagine anywhere else in the nation handling the terrible reality of Helene the way we did. We came all together so quickly and made what was a terrible tragedy a lot more manageable, thanks to that. I think that Western North Carolina mentality, where we are geographically rural and isolated, but we still have a lot of connections amongst ourselves, and that showed up in your guys' work collectively as first responders.
Well, on behalf of the Asheville Fire Department, I really appreciate that compliment, and the same to the community. And I failed to mention this earlier, and I apologize, but we also a huge part of us saving hundreds of lives during the storm was the National Guard. Um, because they were with us the morning the storm hit, we actually evacuated several hundred people from the east side of the city. And without them and their high clearance vehicles, we wouldn't have been able to do that. So
Yes,
it
and
is a true community.
that's right. And I saw the partnership with the Asheville Regional Airport and the constant hubs and the equipment to make emergency landing zones like we did in the military. It was really a collective effort. But I want people to understand that that collective effort has come from years of training and working together. And that's something that, had that not happened in years before, those relationships and those capabilities and those bonds, they wouldn't have been present that day. So all that work really showed its value, and it needs to be recognized. And I want to make sure that that is recognized amongst even the National Guard, like you said, that was so instrumental
Yeah.
to helping us.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, Chief Rogers, our time has come to an end. Thank you for your time. And as always, to you, our guest, the last word.
I just want to say thank you to you for what you're doing and putting this out there for everybody to better understand what some of our first responders and for sure the military, active duty and veterans are dealing with. So thank you to you, Brother E, and your organization. And we look
Absolutely,
forward to
Chief.
working with you.
Absolutely. Take care until the next episode.
All right. Thanks.
You're welcome. Bye bye, guys.
See ya.